So I figured it was time to do an update on the cars. First off, the Galant got a smaller turbo. It makes just as much power, but it spools 1,000 RPM sooner. Gets going pretty good. I did an all-wheel drive burnout with
That was only 3 wheels.
No, I can't. No, I can't
Keep it for a up.
I'm not going to.
That's the first time I've seen a 3-wheel burning.
I'm pretty moist.
I like it, they're popping.
Nice job. Yeah, nice job. Tractor's turn. Yeah, I like that lead pop on the monitor.
But I'm sure you're wondering, what happened to the Smurf, the Supra? Well, first off, it needed some suspension and steering mods to drift better. So we did some S13 coilovers with camber plates and MR2 struts. I did inner tie rod spacers and modded knuckles, which got a little more angle out of it, and it did drift a lot better. I also chopped the rear springs. But sadly, I felt like I reached the end of the road with this car. Had a 7.5-inch rear diff, an IRS, W58 trans. I didn't feel like any of it was going to last with any more power. So I sold it for $3,200 and moved on to a Lexus IS300. Got it with a blown head gasket that I didn't know about yet. I thought it just had a bad water pump. But lo and behold, previous owner did not do a good job of keeping it cool after the water pump was bad. So there we have Bubble Maker 9000. Head gasket was very warped, so I pulled the head off. And then in the typical snowball effect of modding your car, I realized it's a lot smarter to upgrade rods, upgrade transmission, upgrade rear end. So it all kind of came out and it all got upgraded and got better. My horsepower goal went from about 350 to about 600. So the turbo that came off of the Galant found its way onto here with a 18 cm housing instead of a 12 cm. So it should definitely get me to that goal. So here's me pulling out the short block and upgrading to non-VVTi rods, new bearings. I shimmed the accumulators in the transmission, turned up pressure, gave it a fighting chance to live. I set the short block in, started clearancing for turbo, moving the ABS and all of that crap. Realized the throttle body hits the turbo, so had to cut white pipe and move it up. I did an AEM FIC piggyback. Inner tie rod spacers got a little more angle than stock. Lowering springs, but otherwise stock suspension. Helped ride it a little bit. I did hit the drag strip with it. So I'm one of those many people that had nothing but issues piggybacking on these cars and using the FIC. I had RPM signal issues. I ended up costing myself an engine just with bad tuning, bad RPM signal. So yeah, we spun bearings pretty freaking quick just due to excessive cranking, low oil pressure, that sort of thing. So I ported the head, did the build right, and I did reuse the head gasket. And we went ahead and just went with non-VVTi pistons, new from NPR. So drop compression slightly to 9.2 as opposed to the 9.6 that it was before. Checked valve lash this time because I didn't before. All right, pull that pin. Pull it.
I'm trying.
Quick. Give it a pull. Good job. There it is, son. Yeah. So after proper machine work, it was time for a proper standalone as well. So I went with Mega Squirt MS3X with the knock module. I got new flying lead harnesses that I wired in. The engine itself I left alone as the previous setup. Just did this in parallel with the stock ECU, still with the auto. Managed to keep drive-by-wire.